If you've ever stood in the sun and thought, am I being healthy right now, or just slowly cooking myself? You're not confused. You're actually asking the right question. Because sunlight and vitamin D supplements get talked about like they do the same thing. They don't. In fact, confusing these two is one of the biggest mistakes in modern health advice. Vitamin D pills can't do what sunlight does for your biological clock. But sunlight can't safely do what a measured supplement can do for vitamin D. Once you understand that split, most of the internet arguments disappear. If you want more science-backed longevity strategies that respect real biology, hit like and subscribe. And check the description for Amazon links to foundational supplements we mention, plus our longevity compass book. Now let's break this down properly. Sunlight does two completely different jobs in the body. One job happens through your eyes. The other happens through your skin. And when people mash those together, they end up tired, frustrated, or overconfident. First job, sunlight sets your circadian clock. Your brain has a master clock that controls sleep timing, hormone release, metabolism, and even how alert you feel during the day. That clock does not care how much vitamin D you swallowed. It cares about when light hits your eyes. Morning light tells your brain, this is daytime. Start the clock. Evening and night light tell your brain, stay awake longer. That's why bright screens at night feel like jet lag without the airport. And this signal comes mainly from visible light hitting the retina, especially short wavelength light. This is important, so let's say it clearly. A vitamin D capsule does nothing for circadian timing. You can have perfect vitamin D levels on a blood test and still feel wired at night, tired in the morning, and foggy all day. That's not deficiency. That's misalignment. Now here's where this shows up for most people, and this is the part that gets missed. A lot of people think they're exhausted because they're low in something. Low vitamin D, low magnesium, low iron, low motivation. But in many cases, they're not deficient. They're out of sync. They wake up under dim indoor lighting, sit inside all day, and then blast their eyes with bright screens at night. Their clock never gets a strong day signal, or a clean night signal. So they chase supplements to fix a timing problem. And supplements can't fix timing. Now let's talk about the second job of sunlight, vitamin D production. Vitamin D is made in the skin when UVB radiation hits a cholesterol precursor. This only happens in a very specific wavelength range. Roughly 295 to 315 nanometers. And here's the problem. UVB exposure is wildly unpredictable. Latitude, season, time of day, cloud cover, pollution, clothing, age, and skin pigmentation all change how much vitamin D you make. Which means sunlight is a terrible dosing tool. Powerful, yes. Precise, absolutely not. This is why people can tan regularly and still be vitamin D deficient. And why others burn once and overshoot. Now let's talk supplements, without hype. Vitamin D status is measured by a blood marker called 25-hydroxyvitamin D. For most people, levels around 20 nanograms per milliliter are considered sufficient. Very low levels increase deficiency risk. Extremely high levels can cause problems, usually from excessive supplements, not sun. Large trials give us a reality check here. In the VITAL trial, over 25,000 people took 2,000 U of vitamin D daily for more than 5 years. There was no significant reduction in heart disease or overall cancer incidence. But there were interesting signals. Lower rates of advanced or fatal cancer in some groups. Lower rates of autoimmune disease. Not a miracle. Not useless. Targeted. And this is where the internet quietly lies by omission. You'll hear things like, everyone is deficient, higher is always better, if you don't tan, you're unhealthy. Those claims spread because they're simple, dramatic, and easy to market. But biology isn't linear. More vitamin D is not automatically better once you're sufficient. And chasing higher numbers doesn't replace good circadian timing. This is why the 2024 Endocrine Society guideline matters. For generally healthy adults under 75, they recommend sticking close to the RDA, not mega dosing because an influencer said so. They also recommend against routine vitamin D testing in low-risk people. Translation: use vitamin D intelligently, not aggressively. Now let's add an age layer, because this matters more after 40. As we age, circadian rhythms become more fragile. Melatonin output drops. Light sensitivity changes. Sleep becomes easier to disrupt and harder to anchor. Which means light timing matters more than dosage. Morning light becomes one of the highest return interventions you can do for sleep quality, energy, and metabolic health. Not because it boosts vitamin D, but because it stabilizes your clock. And here's the uncomfortable truth we need to say out loud. Sunlight is a powerful hormone signal, and also a carcinogen in excess. There is no safe tan. Dermatology organizations are very clear on this. There is no UV exposure level that maximizes vitamin D without increasing skin cancer risk. Yes, sunscreen blocks UVB. No, sunscreen does not block visible light. Which means you can protect your skin and still get circadian benefits. That's the nuance most people never hear. Quick myth check. Standing by a sunny window will not meaningfully raise vitamin D. Glass blocks most UVB. But it can still help your circadian rhythm. Think of sunlight like this: for your clock, brightness matters. For vitamin D, UVB matters. Different tools, different jobs. So here's the longevity compass decision tree. If you're indoors most of the day, prioritize morning outdoor light. Even cloudy light beats indoor lighting. If your sleep is late or fragmented, dim evenings aggressively. Less overhead lighting, less screen glare. If your vitamin D is low or you're high risk, supplement reasonably and consistently. Don't rely on sun exposure as a dosing strategy. If you're worried about skin health, wear sunscreen and protective clothing. Circadian benefits still come through. If you work nights or rotating shifts, light timing becomes even more critical, and supplementation doesn't replace it. This is not about choosing sides. It's about assigning the right job to the right tool. Sunlight is best used to tell your body when it is. Supplements are best used to support what your body needs. Trying to use one to do the other's job leads to bad decisions. Quick reminder, if this helped, like and subscribe. And check the description for Amazon links to foundational supplements that support long-term health, plus our Longevity Compass book. Now I want to hear from you. Do you prioritize morning sunlight, vitamin D supplements, or both? And what actually changed your sleep or energy the most? Because the goal here isn't dogma. It's alignment.